Good morning. I thought since I was in the kitchen already this morning, I would just bring you along with me. No, Bob, I don't have anything for you. Nope. And I'm making my husband's breakfast. Hold on just 1 minute. Mom don't have anything, buddy. See if I can't get the puppy a treat. So I thought since I was making hubby's breakfast this morning, I would just bring you along and would check these Amish noodles from yesterday. Right or no? No. Mommy's gonna have to put her foot down. No. No. No, no. And we are still in training. So I'm gonna go ahead and give Puppy a noodle. Sit. He loves noodles. Okay, and what we were doing yesterday was the Amish noodle, and I hung them on the hanging rack. Sit. Sit. Puppy smells bacon this morning. And what I was trying to do is these are a store-bought Amish noodle, and these seem to be my husband's favorite noodle. So I wanted to try a recipe that would give me a noodle with was and texture of the Amish noodle that my husband prefers. So, what we used yesterday was this cookbook, the Amish cookbook. And it says Simply Delicious Recipes. Writer? No, no, no. It says Simply Delicious Recipes from Amish and Mennonite homes. And this is the Amish Community Cookbook. And then we used, you'll have to forgive me with the pup. I apologize, we're in training. And he's been spoiled. When I go on live, he wants to be aggressive in the kitchen, and we're trying to break that habit. So the recipe that we used yesterday, good morning. What are we making? We're checking the noodles. We made Amish noodles yesterday from this cookbook, the Amish Community Cookbook. And we're just going to check them this morning. What kind of pup? He is a Maltese. Let me see if I can get you down here where you can see. Okay. That is the one that is misbehaving this morning. And he loves noodles. So, I said, thank you. Oh, I love him. He's a beautiful little fella, but he's full of energy. And he smells bacon in the kitchen this morning, and he's been a little aggressive. But this is the recipe we did yesterday, the traditional noodle. Right or no, no. Here, take a big one. There. And it is this simple recipe. If you watched yesterday making Amish noodles, this is the recipe we used. And it was a really simple, pretty easy recipe, and it came from this book. And what I was trying to do was get a noodle similar in your life. What's one thing you would say to a young lady in 30s? Every day is a new day, a new beginning. You can make a difference Everyone can make a difference. Just being kind, showing a little bit of love, a little bit of respect will go so far, and you will be rewarded over and over again in your lifetime. That's what I think I would have to say. Life is a journey. It's a beautiful journey. Let me get. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. Something similar to the Amish store-bought brand noodles. Oh, thanks. I'll remember that. Okay, thank you. And this is the thickness. And these seem to be my husband's favorite noodle for like a side dish. So, we tried the recipe yesterday. And my first attempt, I tried the rolling pin. And because of all the damage I have to my hands, it was not easy for me to get them rolled out. Maybe if I had a heavier roller, due to the surgeries that I had and even the therapy, I lost so much strength in my hands and arms. So maybe if I had a heavy roller and worked it with a smaller amount of dough, maybe I could do it this way. So the thickness that I ended up with was a little bit more than what I wanted. I couldn't quite, get them. It was close in thickness, but not quite. So I went with the second half, just using my crank noodle or pasta maker. I like that I subscribed. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for subscribing. I ran my second half of my dough through the roller. I didn't cut it with the roller. I cut it the same way I did the others. Just rolled it up in half on each side and hand cut it. And I liked that I could get the thickness that I wanted from this. So, whenever I used the hand crank, my thickness was exactly what I was looking for. They're a smoother noodle. They're a beautiful noodle. They have got beautiful color. They're pretty yellow. And this dough is very, very easy to work with. So, as they dried, I'm going to show you. Is this a devil worshipping channel? No. No, it's not. This is just an older lady trying to put some recipes together on my channel for my daughter. She does better if she can follow along with you in the kitchen. So I decided to put a few recipes on, and that way, because she lives in another state, if she wants a recipe, she won't get overwhelmed. She can, it's like being in the kitchen with her mom. Okay, now when I had these on the rack yesterday, these, and here's Mr. Zink coming in. Say hello, Mr. Zink.
Hello.
And this is Mr. Zink. I got it turned on your back when you turn around and give him a wave. And this is Mr. Zink, getting him a cup of coffee. So, when I hung these on the rack, the ones that are still hanging, as you can see, were the first ones that I rolled out with the roller. And because they were thicker, they're taking longer to dry. Now, you can see on the counter, all of these that are on the towels. As they dried, they just literally dropped. This is an amazing little rack. It's compact. And as you can see, the noodles have drying. I'm going to leave them out just a little bit longer. They're getting a nice texture. And I think they're definitely going to be close to the Amish store-bought noodle. So I'm really impressed with this dough. I think I will stick with this recipe for this particular noodle. Definitely going to leave them out a little bit longer to dry. And then these thicker noodles, I'll just go ahead and let them dry, and I'll save those for like a chicken noodle soup or a chicken Alfredo, because you can see that there's a little bit difference in the thickness. So they're a little bit thicker. And like I said, if I had a little more hand strength or a heavier roller, I could probably have done these the same way. But because of my hand damage and arm damage due to surgeries, I just took the other half of the dough and just ran it through my crank pasta maker. And then I laid it out, rolled it just like the other, and I hand cut it. I'm very impressed. I really like the color. It's got such a pretty yellow. So, I'm very impressed with it. I got this cookbook, I'm thinking maybe at Walmart. And I've had it since, I always write in here when I get it. I've had it since 12 of 2023. And it is the Amish Community Cookbook. And it says simply delicious recipes from Amish and Mennonite homes. And my grandmother was a Mennonite, and I used to love, absolutely love going to my grandmother's. So, I do like the hanging rack for these noodles. They hung very well. They had enough space, and as they dropped, they just dropped right down around the rack. And I just laid out some towels and spread them out a little bit so they could get a little more air. And they are very nice noodles. It's a very pretty dough. If you go back yesterday and look at making Amish noodles, you'll see the process that I used. I'm very impressed. This is definitely a recipe that I will use for these Amish noodles. It's the closest one that I've found to the store-bought Amish noodles. And those are my husband's favorites. And again, the recipe that I used was the traditional, this one. And I took you through the step-by-step yesterday as I made it. And I really enjoyed the process. The dough handled so well. It was a little different with doing the 100 kneads in the bowl. It had more eggs than I was used to. I think it was 4 cups of flour, 6 eggs. Let me pull that open here. Four cups of flour, 6 eggs. Really simple recipe. 6 eggs, 4 tablespoons of cold water, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 4 cups of all-purpose flour. Mix the eggs, cold water, and salt well. Add the flour and knead about 100 times. Roll thin and cut in strips of width desired. Allow to dry thoroughly. Store in jars or plastic containers. And this one I didn't have to let rest. Normally the doughs that I use, you have to let it rest. What is the green? And smells like bacon. Oh, I'm making bacon for my husband. Making my husband's breakfast. So I thought since I was in the kitchen, I would go ahead and bring everyone along and we'll check the noodles that we were making yesterday. That's what smells like bacon. It's bacon frying for my husband's breakfast. He's having bacon this morning and some eggs. And he's having some of the cinnamon raisin toast bread that I made. The cinnamon raisin bread will be toast that I made in the bread maker. So that will be his breakfast this morning. So that's what smells like bacon. I recommend this dough. I like the feel of it. It was easy to work up. It was very manageable, even though you didn't do the rise time of an hour. And most of the ones, or it's called rest, not rise. But most of the ones I've been doing have a rest period of at least 30 minutes to an hour. This one did not have any rest period at all. So, I like the texture. It kept such a beautiful, beautiful color. I didn't have to use a lot of flour. The dough was very, very manageable. And I really think that they're as close to the store-bought Amish noodle that my husband likes so well. And here is one of the store-bought. And then here is one that I made yesterday. Mine's a little bit more yellow, but I got the width about right by rolling it through the pasta hand crank pasta maker. So as far as width, I think I got pretty close on that. I could not get that width on the roller. Now if I had a heavier roller, like I said, I might be able to do it, but my hands and arms are so weak because of past surgeries and therapy. So the nerve damage is bad, so I don't think I have enough to use the rolling pin. Now a heavier one, possible. But it just took a little bit of extra time for me to set up the hand crank pasta maker. And I did not cut it on the cutting part of this. I just used the roller. Just rolled it through. And then I laid it out just like the other dough. Folded it and rolled it in half on each side. And just hand cut it. Beautiful dough. It's drying very fast. I love the idea of the little rack. It's compact. And as the noodles dried, they just literally fell down. And as they fell down, I just set up a few paper towels and just kind of scattered them, trying to move them around a little bit so they can get some air. And I'll move them to a tray here in a little bit and spread them out a little bit more and just let them continue to dry. I'll put them in a glass container, put an oxygen absorber in, and they'll be shelf stable. So I'm very impressed with the dough. I'm impressed with this recipe. So if you want to see the recipe and how I went through it yesterday, I did that yesterday. And today, since I was in the kitchen making breakfast, and a lot of the noodles were dropping and falling, I thought I would bring you in and let you see the process of the drying. Love the little rack, because normally when I'm drying pasta, I have cookie sheets lined in aluminum foil, and it takes up about 1/2 of my island. This was very compact. It was very efficient. This is an all-natural wood, and I love it. And it was not very expensive at all. I think it was in the price range of about $20. And this one is collapsible. When you're done, you can just take all the pegs out, unscrew the pole, and store it, and it's easy storage. So that was a very good investment. I'm very happy so far with the process, and I recommend this dough. And don't be afraid to try something new in the kitchen. Till next time, I'll see ya. Remember, be kind to everyone. We need to see more of that. Bye-bye.